Check 1 2. Check 1 2. Check 1 2. Check 1 2. Welcome, Capital Pioneers fans and fans from all over the nation. Good evening and welcome to tonight's regular season finale of Capital Pioneers football. We are bringing you this game from McNary High School in Kaiser, Oregon, this season's home of your Capital Pioneers. I'm Justin Louder, and next to me during the broadcast will be my brother, Darren Louder. Tonight we have the Portland Fighting Shockwave from Portland, Oregon, traveling south via Interstate 5 to take on the Pioneers. The Capital Pioneers are a Division III team as a part of the Women's Football Alliance, and the Portland Fighting Shockwave is a Division II team also in the Women's Football Alliance. Tonight's broadcast can be listened to live, as some of you are right now, on the Capital Pioneers YouTube channel. It'll also be available on demand following the conclusion of the game. This matchup is the second matchup of the season. Previous game was played almost a little under a month ago on April 30th. The Pioneers had their largest offensive scoring game, winning 46-7. Last season in 2021, the Capital Pioneers went 6-0, undefeated in the regular season, made the playoffs, traveled to the Arizona Outcast as the #1 team in the division, and did lose that game. That's how that season went last year. So far this season, the Pioneers are 4-0. They do sport the 5th best defense in Division III, giving up 8.8 points per game, and have the 11th best offense at 25.5 points a game in Division III out of the 26 teams that have logged games played. Their victories have included a 14-6 win against the Oregon Cougars to start the season, a 20-8 victory against the Seattle Spartans, 46-7 victory, as we just alluded to, in their first road game against the Portland Fighting Shockwave, and then had 2 weeks off, one bye week and then one due to the other team not being available to play, and then after 2 weeks off, played at the Seattle Spartans and came back from a 14-6 deficit in the fourth quarter to win in double overtime, 22-14. The Women's Football Alliance also announced the All-Americans for the 2022 season. I'm going to start with the Pioneers, and then we'll get to the Fighting Shockwave as well. 2 Pioneers were selected to the first team for All-Americans, defensive end Alyssa Flores and linebacker Clarissa Adams. There were 3 Pioneers selected for the All-American second team, defensive end Ashley Watkins, defensive tackle Rebecca Finneran, and linebacker Jennifer Kennedy. For the third team All-American selections, there were 2 Pioneers, tailback Danielle Dunn, and punt returner Willie Lee Missouri. The Portland Fighting Shockwave are here as the road team for this regular season finale. The team was established 20 years ago in 2002. This season, they come in ranked 9th of 12 teams in Division II, scoring 12.4 points a game, and 11th in defense, giving up 28.4 points per game. They have similar records from last year to this year so far. Last year, they were 2-3 in the regular season and went 0-2 against the Pioneers last year, only losing both games by a combined 7 points. This year, they are also 2-3. This will be their 6th game of the season. They did start the season 2-0. They won on the road at Seattle Spartans and then won on the road against the Oregon Cougars. They're currently on a 3-game losing streak, and these 3 games were played at home to the Pioneers, the Spartans, and the Nevada Storm. The team did not play last weekend, so they were coming off of their bye week, coming into the regular season finale. The Pioneers are head coached by Mike Putnam, and the Fighting Shockwave head coach, Asia Wisecarver. Fighting Shockwave also had All-American selections. They as well had 2 All-American selections on the first team, linebacker Tess Baer and fullback Holly Petrie. 1 selection to the All-American second team, quarterback Lex Catton, and 3 selections to the third team, center Summer Rose, wide receiver Rose Turner, and defensive tackle Jennifer Reynolds. The Capital Pioneers currently sit in the 2 spot in the Pacific Division for Division 3 behind the Arizona Outcast. The Pioneers are very much in the playoff picture. If the season had ended before this game, the Pioneers would have locked up the 2 spot, and for the second season in a row, they would have traveled regarding how you can support them on their way to Canton, as well as rehash the playoff picture a little bit. However, the Pioneers do have a real chance to host a home game and take that number 1 spot. The Arizona Outcasts do sport 1 loss on their record, while the Pioneers have a 4-0 record, looking to extend that to a 5-0 record after today's game. A win tonight would guarantee the Capitals a playoff spot. Whether it's home or away, it just kind of depends how things shake out, but that would guarantee them at least the number 2 spot. They would not move down with a victory. They could potentially move up to number 1 with a victory, which would give them a home game against the Arizona Outcast. The Pioneers could also get some help. The 3rd place team in the division is the California Crush, and they're currently playing in Eugene against the Oregon Cougars, and that would increase the chances there of potentially getting a home playoff game, which wouldn't be for 2 more weeks. And again, we'll hash that out as it gets closer.
Immediately following the game at La Hacienda Real here in Kaiser on River Road.
We'll bring in Darren here. What was while I was reading that, what was the coin toss result there?
I believe, Pioneers will defer until the second half.
So Alyssa Flores will kick for the Pioneers. Very good kick by Flores. Bounce at the 20. Huge bounce into the end zone for a touchback.
Kick by Alyssa Flores goes into the end zone for a touchback.
Capital Pioneers will start on defense. Defensive start: Rivera, Holly Bratley, Jennifer Kennedy, Rebecca Finneran, Willie Lee Missouri, MJ Gibney, Elise Gutierrez, Kayla Moynihan, and Leslie Martinson.
They'll be 1st and 10 for the
We'll get the offensive starters for the Fighting Shockwave after this play. Again, a cut here for the Fighting Shockwave offense, including quarterback Lex Catton. A lot of pressure up the middle. Kind of a gang tackle there for the Pioneers. Tackle by Alyssa Flores and Clarissa Adams. I think that'll count as a sack on Lex Catton, as they gave that pressure right up the middle in kind of an interesting formation, starting with 4 receivers on the right side, offense's right side of that formation. Formation will change slightly, putting 3 receivers to the left, 1 to the right, and a tailback. The pitch is going to go to Rosemarie Turner around the left side. A lot of space across I think she got first down yardage. She did. So after an initial loss of 4 yards, it's going to be a gain of 16 for Turner as she runs out of bounds. Be the first down for the Fighting Shockwave.
Yardage is good enough for a Shockwave first down. 1st and 10 for the Shockwave at their own 37-yard line.
It's like the same formation. They're just going to flip it. 3 receivers to the near side. It's going to come to Rosemarie Turner again with some space around the right side. Breaks a tackle at 37, gets across the 45, and wrapped up by 2 Pioneers.
Side of the field here. Just get your fastest person and run it out.
Gain is good enough for a Shockwave first down.
Second first down in a row. Now a more balanced formation with 2 receivers to each side. Catton's going to take looks like she fumbled the ball there on the initial contact, and That was number 9,
Fumble on the play.
Holly
recovered by
Petrie, that jumped on the fumble.
On the play brings up 2nd and 12 for the Shockwave at their
So
own
2 successful
45-yard line.
plays, but also 2 plays where there's just initial pressure up the middle of the line, loss of 2 yards. Three receivers to the far side, 1 to the near side. Turner's the back. It's going to be a fake reverse. Very excellently defended there. Tackle on the play is number 28, MJ Gibney.
For the Shockwave.
No gain on the play.
Gibney on the tackle for the Pioneers.
We'll kind of see that similarly to the Pioneers offense in making all the plays start the same.
3rd down 12.
That one they brought the receiver for that maybe reverse look there. Didn't go, but Gibney able to come up and make the play.
Little misdirections, get the defense guessing.
Shotgun formation, first 3rd down for the Fighting Shockwave. Catton's going to be back to pass, throws over the middle, overthrown and intercepted. Intercepted by Holly Bratley. Still on her feet across the 45-yard line. And that is where I believe she's going to be tackled. So first pass play of the game for Lex Catton is overthrown.
Holly Bratley.
Holly Bratley takes advantage for the interception. And it's going to be 1st and 10 for the Capital Pioneers
45-yard
at the Fighting Shockwave 45-yard line.
Had those heavy downpours earlier today, but it's not raining right now, so I just think the ball just slipped out of her hands.
Yeah, typical Oregon weather here. Get close to June. This perhaps might be the worst weather they've played in so far for a game. Yeah, currently not raining, but was downpouring a little while ago. So it's going to be a Girton handoff to Willie Lee, Missouri across the 30, pushed out of bounds by Turner at the 25-yard line. A gain of 20 yards on kind of that counter look out of the
Ball, they're 5 yards down the field, and you're
round is to run that play first and maybe catch him off guard, which appeared that could be part of it there with a 20-yard gain. Broke the tackle of Rosemarie Turner around the 18, gains a. The Pioneers do have a very physical backfield, able to really,
Gain of about 9.
like you saw there, just really able to power through.
16-yard line. 2nd and 1 for the Pioneers.
And again, the Pioneers will usually have one receiver out. It's Macy Greif to the right side of the formation. It's going to be a handoff. This time, didn't catch who was there. It looks like Gutierrez, Elise Gutierrez. Gains just a couple yards there, but enough for a first down.
Elise Gutierrez on the carry for the Pioneers. Yardage good enough for a first down.
Very successful first
and 10
offensive
for the Pioneers at
possession here
the
inside the
11-yard
red
line.
zone. 1st and 10. They can get a first down since they're at the 11. Girton, quarterback, handing it to the motion girl. That is Jennifer Kennedy.
Jennifer Kennedy on the carry.
Gain
for
of
the Pioneers.
6 or 7, 6 on the play. Will be 2nd and 4 from kind of the name of the game here. No wide receiver wide this time. It's going to go to Gutierrez again and crosses the goal line for a Pioneers touchdown.
Gutierrez, 5 yards and Pioneer touchdown.
Just bits and pieces. Started with a kind of a play we don't see until it kind of gets set up for 20 yards. And after that, just kind of methodically, that's where the Pioneers have a lot of offensive success. If they can kind of methodically work it down the field, you chunk 4 or 5 yards at a time, you're going to get first downs, and then eventually you're going to get touchdowns. The Pioneers will go for 2. Kennedy's in motion. It's going to go to Gutierrez, who is going to be tackled short.
The extra point attempt is
So
no
with
good, and your
9
score
minutes and 8
9.
seconds left to go in the first quarter, Pioneers 6, Shockwave nothing.
Capital Pioneers 6. Portland Shockwave 0.
It is Military Appreciation Night here for the Pioneers' final regular season finale. A portion of tonight's proceeds are being donated to the Tanner Project. The Mid-Willamette Valley Community Action Agency recently received funding from Senator Merkley and Senator Wyden to improve housing options for veterans experiencing homelessness in Marion and Polk County. The funds will help MWVCAA's Veteran-Specific Housing Project, the Tanner Project, expand their program by acquiring and renovating a new property to serve local veterans. The larger property will protect the health of vulnerable veterans by transforming their double occupancy rooms into single occupancy ones, offering them more privacy and safety. There's a little bit more there, a little more information on the Tanner Project. We'll get those things available. We'll read those off here as we can. Flores, who saw her first kickoff of the game go into the end zone for a touchback, definitely attributing to those slick field surfaces here.
Gets one bounce and it'll go into the end zone pretty quick, and it's fairly windy today too.
A little short, but it is going to take a big bounce over the top of Turner's head. She is going to get it at the 10-yard line. She's going to cross the 20, try to get around the left side, breaks the tackle at the 23, and is finally wrapped up at the 27-yard line. A host of Pioneers in there on the tackle. Looked like it was led by Alyssa Flores there. So the Shockwave will come out for their second possession of the first quarter after their first one had some mixed results. A couple first downs in a row, couple losses due to pressure, ultimately ending in an interception. And, you know, having a quarterback and a wide receiver selected as All-American, you could probably say that passing the ground game some more.
Lining up in 4 receiver sets. It's just, I'm assuming, just wide receiver screens, getting the ball out in the wide side of the field.
And the Pioneers did just use their first of 3 timeouts, and it might be to discuss kind of what to do in that situation, considering it's a very rare formation. You don't see it a lot, heavily loading one side like that. Continuing with the Tanner Project, it is a transitional housing project for veterans and the only space between Eugene and Portland that has female-specific veteran beds available. It features a number of on-site supportive services, including case management, mental and behavioral health groups, food resources, peer support, and community activities, all of which veterans can choose to access as they move toward permanent housing. There's a couple more pieces of information we'll give, and I just realized that we did not say the offensive starters for the Shockwave, so after this play, we'll certainly get those. 2 receivers, heavier set on the inside. It's going to be a cat and keeper across the 25. Gets right about the line of scrimmage before she is tackled and brought down by, and that's number 3. That's Clarissa Adams. Looks like she is going to gain 1 yard on the play on that design keeper. Be 2nd and 9. Offensive starters for the Fighting Shockwave. Number 4, Taylor Timms. Number 6, Lexi Catton. Number 9, Holly Petrie. Number 11, Alicia Stiltner. Number 37, Tess Bear. Number 42, Jelaine Wilson. Number 55, Jennifer Reynolds. Number 65, Carly Ilg. Number 77, Summer Rose. Number 85, Rosemarie Turner. And number 99, Shalane Wicker. Look like maybe dealing with some of this this pressure and this trouble up front is because of the rain. Just things being mishandled there.
That center quarterback exchange, if that ball is wet, it's really tough to communicate to the quarterback that to get the ball up there.
And not to mention, we did mention that it's not currently raining, but it is pretty breezy right now. So, you know, while the wind doesn't necessarily affect the offense, it will make it considerably colder than just having, you know, residual water on the ball.
I don't know if that affects the ball very much or not. But
very quick possession for the Shockwave. It is going to be 4th down, 4th and 11. There's a sure what happened over there. Looked like a cannon possibly that they're going to do. Rosemary Turner is going to get her on the left side, going to break a tackle, going to cut it up, going to need 10 yards from here, going to gain a few, but she is going to be pushed out of bounds by number 23, Danielle Dunn.
Rosemary Turner on the carry, right out of bounds, short of the line of gain. Ball is turned over on downs to the Pioneers. 1st and 10 Pioneers at the Shockwave.
So it is going to be. So it is going to be a turnover on downs. Turner was about 4 yards short of the first down marker. So this will be possession number 2 for the Pioneers that will begin in Fighting Shockwave territory. Looked like that was a firework cannon incident there. It was pretty loud. There was a little bit of look of concern there, which is why we were kind of distracted. It's going to be an end around here to Bratley. Going to cut it up the middle. Once you got to around the left side of the line, going to gain 5 yards on the play to the 27. And a lot of this offense, as you're watching, it's a lot about timing, especially with that pre-snap motion. And you could kind of see before that play that she had to wait for the snap a little bit. Either she left a little early or the snap may have been a little late. Nevertheless, she was able to gain positive yardage, as we've seen for a majority of the Pioneers' plays so far.
A lot of options to that. The quarterback can take off with it, hand it off to the motioning receiver. There's just wherever the defense lines up.
Leslie Martinson's the receiver, but it's going to go to Flores up the middle across the 25. Going to be close to first down. Looks like short by a yard. It's going to be 3rd and 1 for the Pioneers. And once again, just methodical offense. Gain yards. And if you're going to go for it on 4th down, you really only need 3 yards of play here, especially on the ground.
23-yard line.
MJ Gibney is the receiver to the left-hand side. It's going to be a fake run. It's going to be a pass and completed to Rebecca Finneran. Nice little quarterback sweep action pass to the right-hand side. Nice pass, nice catch by Finneran for a first down for the Pioneers.
Pioneer first down. 1st and 10 Pios at the Shockwave 12-yard line.
This time it's Greif to the left-hand side of the formation. It's going to go to Missouri on the motion action. Going to get to the 14, trying to break a tackle of Rosemary Turner. Was unable to break that tackle.
Rosemary Turner on the tackle for the Shockwave.
It was a pretty good defensive effort there to not let go. She had a little bit of space. Not saying she would have scored there, but certainly would have got positive yardage if she broke that tackle.
2nd down 11 for the Pioneers.
So loss of 1. One of the few negative yardage plays we've seen from the Pioneers offense in these 2 possessions. There is 3 minutes and 37 seconds and ticking on the clock. 6-0 Pioneers. It's going to go to Gutierrez again up the middle. She's going to be close to a first down. Looks like she's going to be a yard short. Gets to the 4
Elise Gutierrez on the carry
for a 3rd and 1. And we are going to have a Fighting Shockwave timeout. So with 3 minutes and 10 seconds left to go in the first quarter. Pioneers knocking on the door for a touchdown. Already up 6 with a score of 6-0.
Ladies and gentlemen,
To finish up the Tanner Project, the renovations at Tanner Project will slow the spread of COVID-19 in the unhoused veteran population and reduce the risks of congregate-style living. As formerly unhoused veterans move towards safe permanent housing, they will have a private protected space to live where their health and safety will not be at risk. The funds from Senator Merkley and Wyden will be paired with $2,225,000 in capital funding from the Department of Veterans Affairs, one of only 36 awards given nationwide, increasing the positive impact for local unhoused veterans. So here on Military Appreciation Night, certainly seeing an increase in those resources is awesome. There are a couple ways to support the team as they potentially prepare to go to Canton, Ohio, which is where the national championship's taken care of. We'll talk about that over the course of the broadcast as well. Curtin's going to take it, going to hand it off to Gutierrez again, going to get a first down yardage, takes a shot from Turner but doesn't fall down and crosses the goal line for another Pioneers touchdown.
5 yards and the Pioneer touchdown.
Gutierrez really runs with a head of steam there, and very common, at least in this offense from what I've seen about it, just a very physical. It's easy to mix up kind of that physical power run with the speed finesse run. It's a successful try. So with 3 minutes and 3 seconds left to go in the first quarter, Danielle Dunn punches that in for the 2-point conversion. So the Pioneers extend their lead to 14 with a score of 14-0 with 3 minutes and 3 seconds left to go in the first quarter. One way that's pretty easy to help the Capital Pioneers help fund their potential trip to Canton will take place on Saturday, June 4th, which would be next Saturday, at Les Schwab Tire Center on Lancaster Drive in Salem, Oregon, from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. It'll be a car wash and a can drive. We can use the hashtag cans for Canton. Flores ready to kick off. Kick similar to the second one. They're going to recover this one. This time it's going to be Alicia Stiltner with it. Gets a nice block by Turner across the 35-yard line and taken down by a couple Pioneers. I think the initial tackle there was by MJ Gibney. A little slow to get up there, but up and ready to go. So the Fighting Shockwave will look to get a little bit more of that maybe first drive success on some of those plays. So far, interception on their first possession and a turnover on downs on possession number 2. Catton will be under center with 2 receivers to each side. It's going to be a pre-snap penalty. I think it's going to be on the Fighting Shockwave. I think for a false start. Yep, that's going to be Holly Petrie there was lined up in the slot, which is the inside of the 2 receivers on that right side. Moved a little bit early. Not how the Shockwave wanted to start this drive, but it'll be 1st and 15 backing up to their own 33-yard line. Same formation, 2 receivers to each side. Personnel did flip. It's going to be a pitch out to Turner on the left side. Has a little bit of space across the 35, across the 40. Getting to the 45, still dragging tacklers, and forward progress is going to stop there.
Rosemary Turner on the carry for the Shockwave.
So getting 12 of the 15 needed yards on that play. She's pretty quick.
She is very quick. With all the offensive line getting a good push, it's getting at least 5 yards every play.
Yeah, and there wasn't a lot of space on that first possession. There was a lot of space in the defense as she was swinging out wide. That there wasn't a lot of space. She had to cut it back up the middle, but was still quick enough to gain a whole handful of yards. Back to the I formation. It's going to go to Turner up the right-hand side. Contacted at the line of scrimmage, but does fall forward for a gain of 2 yards on the play. It's going to be a 3rd and 1, their own 47-yard line. Minute 42 and counting. 14-0 Pioneer lead over the Shockwave. You can kind of see there. I don't know how well it's coming in on the video, but they placed the ball in the wind. The wind just kind of took it a little bit, so that kind of tells you how gusty it is right now, especially down on the field.
Almost takes the passing game out of the conversation for now.
It's going to go to the fullback for a first down. Dragon tackler is going to be a gain of about 4 on the play, which will give him a first down. That was Tess Bear.
Yardage brings the ball up to the Pioneer 49-yard line.
Crossing the 50-yard line. I think this is going to be the Fighting Shockwave first play that will happen in opponent territory. They were real close on that first possession that ended in the interception. So I think this is the furthest the Shockwave have advanced so far. We'll maybe see one more play, maybe 2 more plays. There's less than 45 seconds right now and counting. 2 receivers to the left. Catton will take the snap looking to the left. It's going to be completed to Taylor Timms across the left side. Has some space and a really nice hit there by the Pioneers, but not before Timms gained 12 yards for another first down. That tackle was made by number 3, Clarissa Adams.
Clarissa Adams on the play.
So right as we just talked about, that passing game, and as the quarter was ticking down, there's 23 seconds left. The Shockwave are going to use their second timeout here.
Timeout, Shockwave.
So again, 2 weekends from now will be the first round of the playoffs, which will be divisional playoff between the number 2 team will play at the number 1 team. Again, right now, the number 1 team is the Arizona Outcast, but the Pioneers with a victory today and possibly a California Crush loss today as well could help advance them and jump Arizona for the number 1 spot. Given kind of how the playoff happens, there is a possibility that the Pioneers would not make the playoffs if they lose today's game. Obviously, for the Pioneers, so far so good. Game's not over. Has a lot of time left. We'll probably see one more play before the end of the first quarter. I'll cover the rest of the playoffs here in another way to support the team financially, if you feel the pull to do that. Catton's going to look to pass, going long over the left and just a little bit overthrown there. Intended receiver Taylor Timms. Looks like Martinson and Willie Lee, Missouri in the area defending. This is going to be 2nd and 10 from the 37-yard line.
Shockwave at the Pioneer 37-yard line.
And for those of you that may be unfamiliar, the Women's Football Alliance does use NCAA rules, so college football rules. It's going to be a handoff to number 9, Holly Petrie. Gains a couple yards up the middle, gets to the 35-yard line.
Holly Petrie on the carry for the Shockwave.
For a 3rd and 8, and that is where the first quarter is going to come to an end.
Pioneers.
So after 1 quarter, Pioneers 14, Shockwave 0. It'll be 3rd and 8 at the Pioneer 35-yard line when action resumes.
At the end of the first quarter.
As I was saying before,
Shockwave.
In Salem on Lancaster Drive at the Les Schwab Tire Center will be a car wash and can drive from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. next weekend, Saturday, June 4th. You can deliver your cans there if possible, or if you have cans but you're unable to get to that location on that day and at that time, you can look up and direct message the Capital Pioneers on any of their social media platforms. You can also contact the Capital Pioneers at 971-599-4047, and you can organize a can and bottle pickup at your desired location. So we will see here what the Fighting Shockwave do. They're going to come out in a 5 wide receiver set. We see that 4 wide receiver set up to the far side of the field. Catton's going to look to pass. Wow, caught in traffic. Nice catch. That was Holly Petrie, number 9. That was well defended. That was defended by MJ Gibney. And she was right there. Really good defense, but was able to haul that catch in. That was very nice.
A lot of options on that play. They could have gone at the wide receiver screen there, and they just had it over the middle.
Yeah, Tess Bear came, I think, from that far position with 3 potential blockers there for kind of that screen. Now, that nice catch was not enough for a first down. It will be 4th and 2. Shockwave are going to go to that I formation with 2 fullback and a tailback behind Catton. Looks like some miscommunication on the handoff, but was able to get it off. This is going to be pretty close to a first down. And we'll look to see what the officials say here. That was Tess Bear at the fullback position. And they are going to give the Fighting Shockwave a first down. Thought maybe we'd get our first measurement. I don't think we've had a measurement since we've broadcast games. That looked pretty close, and it still looks close based on where the ball's spotted.
Coaches were motioning for a measurement. They didn't get it.
And that would have been, big, at least at this point. That was a 4th and 2. Nevertheless, we don't have challenges here. So it is going to be a 1st and 10 for the Shockwave on the Pioneer 27-yard line. Loaded formation, receivers to the right. Catton's going to look to pass, going to go long over to Timms. It's a pretty good pass there from Catton. Just maybe a little high there perhaps, but looked like a play could have been made there. Considering again, it's the breeze is gusty at times. Right now it's not as gusty, but you had mentioned earlier about the direction. She now has the wind helping and aiding the ball in terms of distance.
I think we'll get a couple more plays up to the end zone here through the air.
2nd and 10 from the 27. Catton again, this time over the middle. It's complete to Alicia Stiltner.
Catton's pass complete to Alicia Stiltner.
Jennifer Kennedy on the tackle for the Pioneers.
Jennifer Kennedy on the tackle for the Pioneers.
The kind of that short to medium passing game is working really well for the Shockwave, especially coming from the far side into the middle of the defense.
Spread the defense out, and receiver just a 5-yard and in. Everyone's out. And just a nice catch over the middle.
2 receivers to each side. Oh, it's a fumble. The ball's on the ground. And good thing the Shockwave had good protection on the O-line there because it kind of sat right on the ground. So that was a 3rd down play, so they're going to lose a couple yards. So the Pioneers are going to call timeout with a 4th and 5 coming up for the Shockwave with 12 minutes, 41 seconds left to go in the second quarter. I do want to give a shout out for the first time to the sponsors of the different levels, gold, silver, and bronze sponsors. Our gold sponsors are Charter Construction, Maduri World Delights, and Capital Toyota. Silver sponsors Johnson Family Orthodontics, Shea Training Systems, Custom Comfort Heating and Air Conditioning, Centerline Concepts Land Surveying, AJ's Hideaway Bar and Grill, Enterprise Instant Oil Change, and Fresh and Local Foods. And our bronze sponsors, Pro Circuit Electric, Pence Construction, and HomeSmart Realty Group, Joel Drumheiser, broker. The Capital Pioneers appreciate your support. So it'll be a 4th and 5, kind of a big moment here for the Shockwave. Pioneers sending a blitz. It's going to go over the top. There's some contact there, but it's going to be ruled incidental contact. The Shockwave sideline was looking for a pass interference there. And maybe, 50-50 shot, depending on that. The flag did not come out, though. So certainly the most successful drive for the Fighting Shockwave, and the furthest down they got. Didn't quite get into that red zone, that 20 yards to the end zone area of the field. And second turnover on downs for the Shockwave in this first half. So the Pioneers will take over, scoring a touchdown on their first 2 possessions. They'll take over in their worst field position on their own 22-yard line with 12 and a half minutes left to go in the first half. It's going to be motion. It's going to be kind of that double counter to Missouri. Patient running up the middle, getting across the 25. And down to the 27-yard line. Tackle made by Sarah Cooper.
Sarah Cooper on the tackle.
Good hard tackle there by Cooper.
I'm hoping she gets the ball more. She's been pretty contained throughout the first quarter. I mean, you get her out in open space, she's pretty hard to catch. I hope she gets more opportunities here.
And it will not be on this play as she just came down. Or just came off the field here. Greif, receiver to the left-hand side. Got that motion again, but it's going to be run up the middle. It's going to be a first down. That was Elise Gutierrez. Gain of 7 yards for a Pioneer first down.
Yardage is good enough for another Pioneer first down. First and 10 Pioneers at their own 35-yard line.
35-yard line is where this will be. Martinson going to be the receiver to the left-hand side. Gutierrez is going to remain the back behind. It's going to go to Gutierrez again. Breaks a couple tackles at the line of scrimmage. And it's going to be no gain on the play. I think that was Cooper again.
Elise Gutierrez on the carry for the Pioneers.
Yeah, it was Sarah Cooper.
Sarah Cooper
on the tackle
for the Shockwave. No gain on the play.
Yeah, between this main attack of Missouri and Gutierrez and even Danielle Dunn a couple times, Pioneers having quite a bit of success on most of their rushing plays so far. Obviously that was no gain, but most of their running plays have got at least 4 or 5 yards.
Dunn and Gutierrez seem to be the heavy hitters, while Missouri can just run it to the outside and just run everybody.
Gibney's the receiver to the left. No motion this time. It's going to be a handoff. That's to Danielle Dunn. Short gain of 1 yard on the play. 3rd and 9 coming up for the Pioneers.
Elise Gutierrez on the carry for the Pioneers.
Shockwave's kind of getting into a rhythm here with their defense, kind of stonewalling the Pios here.
Short gain on the play.
Yeah, I mean, most successful offensive possession he had possible with how much time is left, but you definitely, if you're a Shockwave, you definitely want to stop here. It's going to be a counter. That's to Brittany Moore.